So last day we started a new chapter, power dividers and couplers, and we also saw some of the basic relationships. Like for a three-port network, it is impossible to construct a three-port lossless reciprocal network that is matched at all ports. We also did some more derivation and found out with a condition, we call it circulator. We also discussed about its application, and here simple T-junction. These T-junctions are available in the TEM form as well as for rectangular waveguide. So now inside rectangular waveguide, you know that it supports TE10 mode. At least we use only TE10 mode. Now, if you look at these two different waveguide sections, waveguide T's, you see they have different properties. Let's say for the first one, this top port I am considering as the input feed port. Now, if I follow the electric field for TE10 mode, we have an issue at the junction. So to maintain the continuity of electric field, you see for the left hand side and right hand side, if I look at the electric field carefully, their directions are opposite. This is to maintain the continuity of electric field at the junction. And if that is the situation, then if I consider port 2 and port 3, which is the leftmost port and rightmost port as the output ports, then we have 180-degree phase difference. They are out of phase. So that means this is a special T-junction where the output, they are out of phase. We have a phase difference of 180 degrees. So if I take angle of S21 from port 2 to port 1 and angle of S31, they differ by 180. Now this one is called E-plane waveguide T. How we define E-plane or H-plane? It is very much similar to antenna radiation pattern. You recall, for antenna radiation pattern also, we defined E-plane radiation pattern and H-plane radiation pattern. So in the E-plane, electric field is parallel, or we sometimes use the word that it contains electric field. So we use the same concept here. So if I consider a plane as shown here, then it is actually E-plane, parallel to the electric field. Now, if I consider a plane which is perpendicular to it, as shown in the right figure, then we are considering the magnetic field plane. You recall, magnetic field, it forms loop encircling the electric field. So it is perpendicular to electric field, and this plane is called then H-plane T. Here, if I consider the this port as port 1 or the feed port, then power, it is equally divided into two ports, but here we don't have this phase difference problem. So the output, they are in the same phase, or angle of S21 that is equal to angle of S31. So for all this T, we face a problem. The problem is that isolation between two output ports. So we don't have as such any isolation between these two ports. So if I connect something at port 2 and signal comes back, let's say it is reflected from the component you connected at port 2, then that power will be divided into port 1 and port 3. So it is not isolated. That is the problem. And also I want to point out one more thing. Particularly, it is very clear from this figure, first figure, that electric field orientation. So at the junction, you look carefully, it does not look like TE10 mode. So as we discussed, so whenever we have a junction or other type of discontinuities like short circuit, open circuit, so at the discontinuities, we may have a completely different field configuration. And in practice, that will also introduce some sort of phase mismatch or phase difference, some additional phase basically, and also it can change your amplitude value. So even though ideally we are considering that if I just connect a waveguide section like this, it will divide power equally into two arms. But practically, because of this discontinuity problem, it may not happen. Then we have to use a full wave simulator and some sort of compensation technique to equalize power and to equalize the phase. Okay, that is just for your information. Now, next we solved a problem. So for this particular problem, the output powers are in 2:1 ratio, and we discussed about this reflection problem. So if the output ports, they are not matched, then looking from output port into the junction, we have a reflection coefficient, gamma 1 and gamma 2. So these output ports, they are not matched basically. If you look from output into your junction, well, so then we can use the formula we learned for reflection coefficient, and that's how we calculated the curve. Now, in the next example, we have seen if we allow some power loss inside the circuit, then we can design a network, three-port network, which is matched at all the three ports. And we derived its S parameters, and we have seen that actually from the input side and the output side, input impedance, it is always Z0. So it is matched. So here we don't have the problem as we have seen in this case. Here we have gamma 1, gamma 2, but in this example, we don't have that problem. But here you are actually wasting power. Almost 50% of power is wasted. So practically it is not a good idea or popular design. Microwave power. Well, then what is the solution? As we have seen that for T junction, we have problem of output matching, and then the problem of isolation. So one straightforward thing that somehow we have to introduce some loss in the circuit, but at the design frequency, we don't want any power lost in the junction or in the component itself. Also, the circuit was invented by E.J. Wilkinson in 1960. Well, and it is still in use. It is among one of the most popular components at microwave frequencies, and it is still there. So what he did, if you look carefully, this is a fabricated example in microstrip line technology. So it looks like a T junction almost, but at the output side, one resistor is used. Okay, so here it looks like a register from basic electronics lab. Anyway, so it should be in SMD form. Okay, so it may not be a good solution how it is shown in this figure. Now, this register, when we are going to utilize in the circuit, that means we are going to use the concept of voltage and current. So again, we discussed this point. Whenever we use some SMT components, it can be passive, it can be active. We use the concept of voltage and current. Now, voltage and current, you can define only for TEM mode. So then by default, you can design Wilkinson power divider only for those guiding structures which support TEM mode of propagation. So what are the examples of TEM mode propagation? Coaxial cables. You see, coaxial cable, it can support TE mode and TM mode, we discussed. But the frequency range we choose, over that, it supports only TEM, and we are not interested in multi-mode propagation because of its own disadvantage. Well, so coaxial cable is one of the examples. Then microstrip line, CPW line, coplanar strip line. So most of the planar guiding structures, actually, we can design this Wilkinson power divider using then in PCB technology. But what about rectangular waveguide section? Rectangular waveguide, it is not possible. Why? Then how to use the resistor? I have to pass all the electromagnetic current through the resistor. So voltage current concept is not valid. So then actually we can't find a suitable position for the resistor to place it. So this is an important observation. You note it down in your copy. So the guiding structures for which we can't define the EM mode of propagation, we can't use this Wilkinson power divider concept there. Well, I'm coming to analysis later. Let me first describe its properties, basic properties. So if you look here, the input left hand side, this is the input feed port, and right hand side, these two are the output ports. Okay, now for a conventional design, input power is equally divided into two parts. So if they are equally divided into two parts, that means power ratio is 1:1. What about in terms of S parameters? S parameters relate the signal amplitude, so it will be 1/√2 times down compared to the input feed, 1/√2 times down. And you see the output from port 2 or port 3, they are symmetrical with respect to the midplane. So that means the phase of angle of S21 and angle of S31, they are same, right? So actually we use a 90-degree delay line here. So that's why we will be having angle of S21 equal to -90 and angle of S31 is -90. It is delayed, so minus. Well, so in terms of real and complex, then we have the S matrix here. It's a 3x3 matrix. So all the ports are matched. Then port 1 to port 3, S11, S22, S33 magnitude, that is equal to 0. And from port 1 to 2, port 1 to 3, equal power division with 90-degree phase. So it comes then minus J/√2. So you can have other values here. Okay. So 1 to 2, 2 to 1, 1 to, so we can use the same coupler as a combiner. In that case, whatever you are applying at port 2 and port 3, then the addition of that will appear at port 1. Now, what about S23? That is important from isolation point of view. So if I fit anything at port 2, what we expect, that should appear at port 1. Nothing should go to port 3. So that means S23 should be 0. Now look at the matrix. So S23, indeed it is 0. Well, so this property, it is at the design frequency. So I'm showing here the measured response of a Wilkinson power divider, which is designed at 2.4 gigahertz. Now at the design frequency S11, S32, it goes down below -40. So at least 40 dB of isolation, 40 dB of return loss we have here. And what about S21 and 31? That is equal to -3 dB, half power, so -3 dB. Okay, and if I go left or right with respect to the design frequency, then this property, it will change. But in most of the cases, we define some values. Let's say isolation of 30 dB is enough for my application. Now, in addition to isolation, obviously there will be some condition on amplitude, then matching, other things. So if you look at those values, then we can say that at least it is valid over a given frequency range. Now, practically, if we need to improve the bandwidth further, what we can do? So I'm coming to this part later. What we can do, that we can use multi-section element. So we are not going to do any derivation, just to know actually what is the way to solve this problem. If I need a Wilkinson power divider for the whole X band, let's say 8 to 12 gigahertz, or even wider frequency, then we have to go for multi-section. So multi-section concept we learned in transformer, if you recall. Lambda G by 4 quarter wave transformer, that is a single section, and it is valid only at the design frequency. But we can go for binomial. Then for binomial, actually we use many sections, and if you keep on increasing number of sections, your matching bandwidth, it improves. Same thing happen for other components as well. So without doing any derivation, just conceptually. So this is a Wilkinson power divider. It is designed and fabricated here, and it is for X band operation actually. And we wanted to cover whole X band, 8 to 12 gigahertz. So now you can see the SMD register here at the junctions. Okay, and their thicknesses are different. So that means the characteristics impedance required, it is different for different sections. Input output, they are 50 ohm microstrip line. Well, now coming to derivation part. So we need to learn something new. Well, after this Wilkinson power divider, we'll be having 4-port networks, couplers, then hybrid junctions. So before going further, then we have to learn a new theory. It is called even odd mode analysis. So some of the theoretical concept, it's very simple, but it came much late. This one also, I think 1970s or 1980s that time. Okay, the concept is very simple. So first of all, where we apply this and why? This is to simplify a 4-port network problem into 2-port network problem. So you don't have to consider all the 4 ports. You can finally just continue your analysis with 2 of the ports, provided it is symmetrical with respect to at least one plane. So here I am showing here one resistive 4-port network. So in this particular example, actually we have 2 different planes, plane of symmetry. One goes through the mid plane 100 ohm, another one mid plane of 50 ohm branch. So we have X symmetry and Y symmetry, but practically you need at least one plane of symmetry. Now along that plane, we can actually divide it, simply cut it. Now, how we do that? We consider first that, let's say, let us use this plane as the plane of symmetry, which bisects this 100 ohm branch. Now, port 1 and port 4 together, we are using as the input ports. So in the even mode, we connect 2 RF signal source here at port P1 and at port P4 with same amplitude and same phase. So how we define even mode for coupled microstrip line section, similar to that. Well, so it is represented by +1 normalized value. So it is not like 1 volt DC signal. It is the same RF source with the same phase we applied at port 1 and at port 4. Okay, so then along the mid plane, what is happening? Since both are same voltage, then we can put one open circuit here. This is the plane where we can put one open circuit. We don't have any current going through this, which is crossing this, right? Then we can actually put one open circuit plane here, as we did for microstrip coupled line case. Next, we change the polarity for the lower signal source. So then port 1, it is represented by +1 volt, and port 4, it is now -1 volt. So again, it is not DC, RF signal, but out of this. Now, if that is the scenario, plus and minus this side, then along mid plane, we can now put a short circuit, right? So this 100 ohm, we are now dividing into 2 parts, 50 ohm plus 50 ohm. So then in the even mode circuit, one half, let's say the upper half, we can represent like this, right? So 50 ohm, one end is open-ended, another one, this is also open-ended. So basically they don't have any influence on this main line, because a resistor, if it is open circuited, so if you connect or not, that does not matter. Similarly, for the odd mode, now since it's a short circuit, so 50 ohm other end is shorted here. So you see, then a 4-put problem, it becomes a 2-put problem. Now we solve for the ABCD matrix or directly S parameters. And once it's done, we'll go back to the original circuit, and the solution will be given by the addition of both of these two. Why I'm saying addition of both of these two? Consider the first circuit once more. So +1 and +1, if I superimpose, then it becomes 2 volt, and the bottom one, +1 and -1, cancel out, right? So it is like, then the solution, it is like the superposition of these two concepts, even mode excitation and the odd mode excitation. Well, so this is the basic logic and steps of even an odd mode analysis. Now we want to apply this concept to Wilkinson power divider. How we can do that? Wilkinson power divider, if I go back, it is actually a 3-port network. Then to simplify it, we can construct a 4-port network like this, or we need actually a plane of symmetry. That is the main thing. So how we are doing that, you see, look carefully. This is the original circuit represented by transmission line section. So from input side, it is given by YIN, and the port impedance is Z0. From the output side, again, port impedance is Z0, and in between, we have a transmission line section of length λ/4, and let's say the characteristics impedance is Z, and we need to find out what should be the value of Z and what should be the value of R, and that we are going to solve by using this even odd mode analysis. Now to do that, we have to first find a plane of symmetry. So how we are doing, let us apply the signal from output port. So that +1 volt, -1 volt, that let us apply from output side. Okay, that would be easier then. And Z0 we represent by the parallel combination of twice Z0. So if I then bisect Z0 and replace Z0 by the parallel combination of 2 twice Z0, so I'm not disturbing the circuit at all. Performance remains same theoretically, right? But what is the advantage? Now we have a plane of symmetry. You have to imagine a little. Where is the plane of symmetry? So we are as if cutting port 1 into 2 parts. Each consists of twice Z0 value. Output side, it remains as it is, Z0. Now we apply the output voltage. Instead of 1 volt, it is now 2 volt, because while we'll be adding, then it will come back to 1 volt. I will see later. Well, so this is then in even mode excitation, and in odd mode excitation, this circuit represents in even mode excitation, and in odd, one would be +2 volt, another was -2 volt, right? So then along the open circuit plane, in even mode, we can place one open circuit. In the odd mode, we can place one short circuit. Now, if I put one open circuit plane, then the corresponding 2-port network from even mode excitation, it looks like this, right? Left hand side, we have twice Z0. Then R, it is represented by 2 R/2, R/2 plus R/2. So 1 R/2 it comes in the circuit, but one end is, another end is open circuited. So actually it does not have any direct effect, okay, on the performance of the circuit. Now, what about the odd mode circuit? It is short circuited. So at this point, at the plane of symmetry, basically I'm putting one electric wall. Electric wall represents short circuit. So then the equivalent circuit, it looks like this. So we have this twice Z0, that's why we are using actually twice V. Anyway, so I'm repeating here, the even mode circuit and the odd mode circuit remains the same as it was before. Now let us concentrate on the even mode circuit. So here, if I look from port 2 into the circuit, Z in, this Z in, it is in even mode, right? So we represent it Z in E. Z in, looking into the circuit, it is coming Z square by twice Z0. The resistor, it has no effect. It is like a quarter wave transformer. So Z square by twice Z0. Then port 2 will be matched if I can choose Z equal to Z0 into root 2 because of this twice Z0 value, right? So it is then Z0 square root 2. We have a factor of root 2 because of this twice Z0. Then we found what should be the characteristics impedance of that lambda by 4 section. It is basically working like a quarter wave transformer, right? If I consider Z0 50 ohm, then the characteristics impedance is 70.71 ohm, 50 multiplied by root 2. Now, what is happening in the odd mode? In the odd mode, this is the circuit. So R by 2 now grounded. What about this lambda by 4 section? This end is grounded. And already we know what is the characteristics impedance of this branch. Now, if this end is grounded and if its length is 90 degree, so here if I have a voltage minima at the short end, at this end after lambda by 4, we might be having a voltage maxima, follow sinusoidal wave, voltage maxima. So basically then looking into this arm, it looks like one open circuit. So we don't have any loading effect basically. So then we have, looking from port 2 into the circuit, we don't have any contribution because of twice Z0 or this lambda by 4 branch. Only thing we have R by 2. Now to match with Z0, then R by 2 should be Z0 or R should be twice Z0. So that means for Z0 50, R should be 100 ohm, right? So under that condition, now you can check S11, 22, 33. Okay, we use this condition actually, S11, 22, 33 equal to 0, and found Z is equal to Z0 into root 2 and R by 2 equal to 50 ohm. Similarly, you can check other components. Well, so finally this is the circuit, and for a single section then we know the values. This is for equal power division. Now, is it possible to design one unequal power division, Wilkinson power divider? It is possible. Again, but we are not going to derive expression, just noting down the result. So in that case, you have to change the characteristics impedance of the these branches, lambda by 4 branches. So we have a standard, the formula already derived. Let's say the power ratio between P3 and P2, it is represented by K square. Okay, K square. So K square is a value less than 1. Then the design equations Z03 for the lower lambda by 4 line, it is Z0 into square root of this, and Z02 for the upper lambda by 4 line, it is Z0 into this. R also, it should not be 100 ohm anymore. We have a different value. R is equal to Z0 into K plus 1 by K. So we can also design unequal power division, Wilkinson power divider. Now, in practice, let's say you are going to feed an array antenna. We have altogether 16 elements. So if you have 16 elements, then I need to divide the input power into 16 parts. So I can use this basic 1:2 power divider. Then I can repeat it to have that value. Here, one example of 1:8 power division. You can check. So they use, it is actually a commercially available power divider circuit, okay, used in the mobile base station. And you can check from the input side. Since the length of the impedance transformer at lower frequency is long, they use some sort of meandering. Okay, let me zoom it. This figure, then it is more clear. So how they did packaging, you can check. Anyway, so the input, now we have these two arms. They used meandered line for miniaturization. So this lambda by 4 first impedance transformer, this is the second one, and we have now two outputs. So these outputs are fed to two more Wilkinson power divider, and again from the second one it goes to another two. And nicely they fitted everything in a very small compact way, volume. And it will come with a cover. This is for weather protection. And from the output side, you can connect your coaxial cable here. Okay, so now you also have enough knowledge to design this. Well, so let me stop here and let us take a few questions. Then maybe again we'll come back here. Okay, so you can switch on your microphone and ask questions.
Sir, can you open the slide for the odd even part once?
Yeah, I'm coming to that point. And this one or the resistive one?
The resistive.
Okay.
Sir, so when we do the final calculation, like there should be two parts, right? The top part and the bottom part.
Yes, yes. It is like superposition of even mode and odd mode. So if I superimpose, then you see plus 1 with right side plus 1. It becomes 2. And the bottom one plus 1 plus minus 1. So it becomes 0. So as if then all together you are feeding it by a 2-volt source.
Sir, so how do we like solve it? Right? We solved the two port equations twice.
Yes.
And then how do we add the parameters then? How are
Uh,
the ABCD parameters or S parameters combined?
Yeah, you see, actually, you cannot directly add ABCD or S parameters. No? So you have to use some concept. It is not in your syllabus. Just I am giving some rough idea. For the transmission, for example, or the reflection, you can consider individually. So for reflection or transmission, then we can use superposition theorem, right?
Yes.
So even in DM Pojar's book, you will see that they mentioned later for a 4-port network, just the condition. I don't think I included here. Okay, here is one more example. Finally, how we add them using current voltage concept. Okay, so if time permits, we can cover this part. So these are directional coupler using couple line. and then it will be clear to you. We use the same condition here. You can check. This is the original coupler, and now we excite it in even mode, this circuit, and this one in odd mode. So then if we combine these two, it is represented by this one, twice before, and we are now using that same concept, voltage, current. So directly we cannot add. So we have to use the concept here. We have to relate with this one. Okay, and accordingly we'll be using the concept. Now it will take time. Later we'll see in next class. Yes, anything else?
So could you explain the splitting in the like how the Z became 2Z0? I could not understand that.
Okay. Here you have to imagine little. So main point is that we have to find out a plane of symmetry. So originally this analysis technique was proposed for four-port network. But wherever we have a plane of symmetry, we can take advantage of that. Now, for a 3-port Wilkinson power divider, we see that if I can use the left side input impedance as a combination of twice Z0, then we have a plane of symmetry. So this is the original circuit. Output side Z0, input side also Z0. Now instead of feeding it from the left hand side, we are feeding it from right hand side, just to find out the value for Z and R. Here we already assume the length is lambda by 4. We are not doing general solution. Okay, just to find out the value of R and Z. Now I need to apply even odd mode analysis technique. So I have to then modify the circuit. The Z0 now I am representing like twice Z0 and twice Z0. They are in parallel. So at this point, then the equivalent resistance intervention, twice Z0 parallel, twice Z0, it is Z0. So from output side, then we can't see any change, right?
Yes, sir.
But the advantage is that now you have a plane of symmetry as shown by this blue line, dashed line.
So in the above 4-resistor network, which in the previous slide says slide 13, could you show like where
Yes.
would the tools did not be placed? Hello.
Yes.
Sir, in slide 13, could you show where the two Z0s would be placed? So like we divided, like I understand in the previous network, like we had P1 and P2. So instead of that P1 and P2 where we had +1 +1, we would have P3 and P4.
Now here you want to say why where twice Z0?
Yes, sir. Yes,
No,
sir.
here already we have the plane of symmetry. So then how to define the plane of symmetry? We are actually bisecting this 100 ohm and representing it by two impedances. So here we don't need twice Z0. Here rather we are using like 100 ohm is equal to 50 plus 50
Yes,
in
sir.
series combination. Then we have this plane of symmetry represented by this dashed line. So main target is that we need a plane of symmetry. That's all.
Achha, okay, sir. So like this is just one example, but in any circuit we need just a plane of symmetry.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Here already we have, so we don't have to do anything else. But here we don't have, so we modified the circuit so that we can have a plane of symmetry.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, could you explain the odd mode circuit explanation again? How did it came that R is 2Z0?
Okay, here. So this circuit you understood how we came to this circuit?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now you check. I'm looking from port 2 into the circuit. Okay, so this point is shorted, no? This end is shorted. It's like a lambda by 4 section. This end is shorted. So if this is shorted, left hand side you connect twice Z0 or you don't, it does not matter because this is shorted. Now at the short end, we have voltage minima, current maxima. You know, I'm following this lambda by 4 line, transmission line, left to right. Then at the resistive end, where the resistor is connected, here we have a voltage maxima, current minima, right? So for a quarter wavelength transmission line, if the other end is short circuited, so from this end, what I will see? Impedance is become 1 by, right?
Yes, sir.
So it
Yes,
is
sir.
now
But
open circuit then. So we don't have any effect. So basically you can delete this part. Lambda by 4 part, twice Z0 part, you can completely delete it. It does not have any effect on port 2. So then what is remaining? R by 2 only. Now looking from Z0 into the circuit, you have R by 2 to ground. You need impedance matching. No reflection from here. Then what should be the R by 2 value? It should be Z0, right? Match termination.
yes,
So
sir.
R
Yes,
by
sir.
2.
Got it.
Okay, fine.
Sir, but if since our logic was that at the resistive end, the voltage would be maximum, current would be minima. Sir, but we are connecting it to a resistive network, right? That it can't
Yes.
see whether the current is 0 and the voltage is maximum, right? There should be
Yes.
current and there should be a voltage, right?
Yes, yes. But you see, we are applying this after even odd mode decomposition. If you go back here, that part actually is not covered in your theory. The problem is that you see, sorry, not problem. The advantage is that port 2 and port 3, they are isolated. And this point you consider R. This top point and bottom point, they should be at same voltage. Now, if I hit anything from port 1, without doing any mathematics, conceptually I'm trying to explain it. So if I consider port P1 as the input feed, since the end of the register, they are at same potential, there should not be any current flowing through on at the design frequency.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, so at the design frequency, we don't have any power loss. That is why it is so popular. And it came in 1960, and it is one very important invention, and we use his name actually till today. So at the design frequency, it's working like a lossless network. But yes, if you go to left side or right side, it may not be. So in most of the cases, if you have actually different loading at port 2, port 3, or if you have a reflected signal coming back, so that power is lost in this register. Any other question? This even odd mode concept is little new to you, but it's a very simple concept. Just you have to find the plane of symmetry. Some of the very basic concepts, it looks so simple, but it came so late, 1970s, 80s. You learned Fourier series, for example. It came much late. Laplace was much before Fourier. Well, I don't think we can. So we can stop here because we do not have enough time.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, do we have fiber today?
Yes, you have. Last week we announced, no?
Okay, sir.